Hey, this is Keegan with Applied Machine and welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going over how to set up your tools using Zero Calibration with a tool setter. We already have a video explaining the difference between absolute tool length and Zero Calibration, so be sure to check out that video in this video's description. Let's begin. First, let's make sure your Hurco's in the right mode. To confirm that, go Aux menu, Utility screen, User Preferences, Tool and Part Settings, Tool Calibration Mode, and verify that you're in Zero Calibration. Now this will reset all of your previous tool lengths. Be sure to only do this before setting up your tools for a program. And just like that, now we're in Zero Calibration. Now let's go Input, Tool Review, Tool Setup. This is usually the most efficient way for loading several tools. It's here where we can define our tools and what we're going to put inside the machine. First, assign a tool number that you want to call it by. You can choose any tool from 1 to 9,999. Now tool number 0 represents an empty tool. In our case, we'll do tool number 1. Now we can choose the tool type. Notice that this is a drop-down menu. You're able to choose your tool type with this menu or choose it with the soft key menu on the right. As you can see, there's a variety of different tools. You can use an end mill, a tap, or even a chamfer mill. You can also set up a custom tool, which we'll get into later. Up next, we just fill out the information that we know about our tool. It's a 1/2 inch diameter. For the speeds and feeds, we recommend using the manufacturer's recommendations for that. Something really cool about the Hurco software is that if you only know your RPM and maybe your feed, then it will auto-populate the fields that you don't type in. Alright, now we have our first tool set up. Now while we're here, I want to show you another feature Hurco has. If we want to make another tool, call it tool number 2. And for this one, we're going to set it up as a chamfer mill. Now as you can see, there's a few more options for the chamfer mill than there was for the end mill. We can see contact offset, even the angle and tip diameter. Now if you're not sure what it's asking you, or if you want to go in and customize your tool even more, you can go More, Advanced Tool Settings, and it's in this field where you can completely customize and set up your new tool. You can even see a diagram of what it's asking you for each setting. You can go through the tip diameter, shank diameter, contact offset, tool length, chamfer angle, and even the flutes. While we're here, let me briefly touch on another great tool that's built into the Hurco control, and that is the tool and material library. You might have a less experienced operator that can run the machine, but maybe they don't have as much knowledge on speeds and feeds. With the tool and material library, you're able to create a preset that will automatically fill in the speeds and feeds depending on the tool. Alright, now that we have our tools set up in the control, let's go ahead and load them in the spindle. To do that, what you want to do is select the tool that you want to queue up. In our case, it's tool number 1. Then, hit the Tool Changer Auto button. And what this will do is orient the spindle so that you can insert your tool. Press Cycle Start, and as you see, it says to insert your tool. Once it prompts you to insert the tool, take the tool with the tool holder and make sure the dimple is facing outward. Press and hold the button and pull up on the tool. Once you let go of the button, you should feel it grab the tool. I usually give it a tug to make sure it's secure. So what's going to happen is we will touch off our tool to a known dimension. In our case, we are using a tool setter, but you can use anything that you know the height of, such as a 1, 2, 3 block, the top of your vise, or whatever. This establishes what we call the Z reference plane. Just make sure you use the same device to set up all your tools. After this, we will use one of the known tools and touch off the top of the part. This is known as the Z offset, and it's basically the difference between the Z reference plane and the top of your part. Now you can use the top of your part as the Z reference plane. However, we don't recommend doing that because anytime that you need to put in a new tool, and let's say you change parts so you have a different part height, then you're going to have to reteach all of your tools instead of just setting your Z offset. So what you'll do, place it on the table. Now take your control, set it to Z, 100x, and now what you'll do is you'll lower your spindle and your tool down to the gauge block. Now's a good time to go 10x, and now 1x. Once we store the machine position, here you can see the zero calibration. The final step to setting up your tool is pressing the tool changer auto button one more time. And as you can see, it changed from an M to an A. That means your tool is now set to an auto tool, and it'll automatically queue up in your program whenever it's used. And then it'll be put back in the tool magazine when it's not in use. This is because the tool change auto button has two functions. The first is to put the tool into the spindle. The second is to change the tool mode. If you keep it as a manual tool, it'll require you to put the tool in and take it out every time you use it in the program. Now what I recommend doing before moving on is go Tool Home. Now this will require you to press Cycle Start. And what this will do is it'll move your tool from wherever it's at on the table to the Z Home. This will protect you from having any unforeseen accidents. Now that we have our tool 1 set up, we can go ahead and set up tool number 2. Same process applies. We have our tool number 2 selected, hit Tool Changer Auto, Start Cycle. Just like for tool 1, we're going to take the tool holder, place it inside the machine, press the button, release, give it a tug, and it's all set. Press Cycle Start. And now we can repeat the same steps to get the tool calc length and also turn it to an auto tool. Finally, when you're done setting up your last tool, you can then go Machine Mode Manual, Tool Management, Clear Tool and Spindle. Now, to set up the Z offset, what we should do is go Input, Part Setup, and select the field that says Z offset. After that, we will bring the tool down to about 1/8 of an inch from the top of the part. At this point, reduce the jog speed to 10x. Now, using a piece of paper as a shim, what I will do is lower the tool so that there is friction between the tool and the piece of paper, while being careful not to go too low to break a tool. I'm going to lower it just a little more. And right there, I can feel the paper dragging. This is where I want to be. While we're here, store the machine position so that we can have our Z offset. Just like before, go Machine Mode Manual, Tool Management, and clear the tool and spindle. Alright, now you know how to set up your tools using Zero Calibration. Be sure to check out the other videos in our description to learn more about how to operate your Hurco. I'll see you there.